So we have to taken care of the hazardous areas, electrical equipments. These are the flame-proof protection like this, explosion-proof equipment, dust ignition-proof, dust-tight, purged pressurizers, explosions, intrinsic safety, internal safety, non-incentive circuits also very important. We will discuss in the coming slides also. The enclosure is designated as to prevent the transmission of the explosion inside the enclosure of the outside. That means flame protection will be provided in the circuit itself or in the equipment itself. Dust technique we will be discussing here is. This is very important. Explosion proof, you already know. Equipment that is designated, designed with withstand the explosions. Dust ignition proof, the equipment that is designed to withstand the dust ignition, because these are all coming in the class 1, class 2, class 3 hazards is there, 01, 02 hazard size classifications also there. That's why we'll be discussing all these things. The equipment which withstand the flame proof, explosion proof, dust ignition, dust tight, means equipment that is designated to keep dust. That means what the dust generated in the equipment running, the dust extraction system see that properly running, and that there is no accumulation of the dust on the equipment itself. That means while they're drawing the applying the dust, the electrical equipment running or anything what is called process equipment is running during nearby electrical equipment is there, and where the dust prone to electrical equipment, where the dust allergy equipment is also there. That's why we have to see that all the process departments and the maintenance departments, and see that the dust extraction should be properly worked, and see that the properly in place. Purged and electric pressurizer equipment that is purged and pressurized to prevent explosion. Any extra voltage is there, extra current is there, that simply should be purged due to the yesterday's discussed surge vessels as well as surgery equipments and all these things, TSVs and all. The intrinsic safety, that internal safety circuit is also to be taken care of. Equipment that is designated to be intrinsically, that means safe, where the any overload circuit is there, electrical leakage circuit breakers or ELCBs or RCDs, everything to be facilitated to that circuit. Non-incentive equipment circuit is very important. Equipment that is to be
అదే జాత
non,
అట్లుంటే
non-incentive only. What is meant non-incentive means? The non-incentive simply means that the equipment does not cause an ignition under normal operating conditions. By this definition, a fair amount of standard electrical equipment will qualify as non-incentive without needing any special design precautions. Here is equipment is there with normal atmospheric conditions. Maybe that equipment is damaged. No voltage fluctuation, no current fluctuations, no electrical faults is circuit faults is there. Even then, the equipment is not perfectly encouraging your organization or encouraging your electrical engineer, for example. That means that equipment is non-incentive. That means it is not taken care by the during the design of the equipment. It is not taken care that will works at the under normal operating conditions. In normal operating conditions, even it is not taken care by the equipment means during the manufacture only it taken care of. That's why it is a non-incentive equipment. While purchasing the any electrical equipment, we have to see that it is a non-incentive or not. Really, it is mentioned in the manufacturer's manuals also. It is a non-incentive equipment. Normally, it is not the concentration of these those areas by the electrical engineers or other professionals, but this should be maybe common, but they have to see that reputed companies we have to purchase any electrical equipment. That is very, very important. These are the protection techniques because of. Therefore, going to the examples here is flame-proof arrangements, and the flame-proof what is called switch is there. Immediately the light will be alarmed where the flame is about to expect. Therefore, these are the circuit arrangements is there, flame proof arrangements. Explosion proof circuits is there where the explosion can be taken care of immediately. Some circuit will be break up or some disconnection will be taken care in the circuit itself. These are the flame proof. These are the explosion proof equipment series. And then dust explosion series. See, for example, this is the motor where the dust explosion systems is there. See, normally previous the electrical motors are not having this facility. Now the dust explosion proof equipment has come into the organization. They have to take care much, but maybe the cost is in such a way. In the panel itself will be taken care of the dust explosion system. It will be circuit taken care of. If it is more dust on the outside of this, it will be definitely see that we have to blower by using the blower. We have to see that it should be worked. The purging and pressurization is there. Immediately in the circuit itself is taken much care on the nowadays electrical specializers. It should be whatever the extra energy is coming apart from the design, it will be leaked itself or the electricity circuit breakers will be tripped equipment, then the equipment will be safe. That is the reason we have to see in the circuit itself, we have to provisions to be made while making the circuit during the installation of the electrical panels. Intrinsic safety, that means intrinsic internal safety is there. See, for example, hazardous areas is there, pressure switch or other simple equipment like this, some auto-proof, auto-function forum is there, like intrinsic safety. Like this, some non-hazardous area and this is hazardous area. Some barrier to be taken care of. In this also electrical panels are there. In this area also electrical panels are there. But if you are not providing the barrier or to the both the sections, definitely it will be not taken by the intrinsic safety. Means internal safety is not much is influenced in that organization. So we have to see that there's already told a compatibility chart, like for example, storing of chemicals, storing of items, compatibility chart is to be taken care of. Which material by besides the which material we have to store, that is also a need as compatibility chart is this. Is also we have to see that some barriers, if already constructed area is there, this is hazardous area, this is non-hazardous area, constructed area is there, we cannot do anything now. Therefore, we have to provide some barrier. We can say some barrier to be taken care of. Therefore, it will where the hazards are coming over here, it will not transported to the or transferred to the non-hazardous area. The at least we can reduce the uh, uh, risk consequences and all, reduce the intensity of the risk also. The class 1 division location we will see and also will be discussing in the next slides. The class 1 division 2 location, these are the nowadays the electrical circuit itself is giving lot of facilities in the circuit itself. Thereby anything happens in the uh, uh, that means uneven things are happened beyond the design and all the circuit itself is taken and tip the equipment and see the keep the equipment safety. Nowadays the circuits is also very interesting and taken care of. Next, coming to this next slide. These are the very important areas where we have to go through. Hazardous area classifications, class 1 hazardous, class 2 hazardous, class 3. This is very, very important. Normally, chemical industries, they were taken care of. But in the red category industries, those who are having the red category industries category under the Pollution Control Board, these classification with respect to electrical also we have to take care of. Class 1 hazardous area that contain flammable vapors or gases. Where the flammable vapors are there, that means the vapors coming from the system. It definitely at low temperature it will burn. That is called flammable vapors or gases. Where the gases are having the firing capabilities, where the ignition taken care of, even the source is not there, but the dust is in such a way that is the hazardous area we called as. That means flammable vapors means that at low temperature, the vapor will be burned or giving the fire to the surroundings. Class 2 is a hazardous area that contain dust. Where the hazardous dust is there, hazardous, very, very important. This one is.
So dust means what? What you consider?
The dust means the process dust, we can say atmospheric dust, or we can say any, suppose chipping area is there, wooden chipping area is there, or the lime kiln areas are there, or the lime dust areas are there. Where the dust prone area is there, we have to be taken care of on the dust area explosion, and see that the dust extraction system been proper. That is what is meant by dust. The where the lime powder, rotary lime kilns, or the what is called any, for example, the
The
we can
dust
say,
which is support to explosion?
not sir, not
Any
dust
fire?
explosion,
Not fire.
not sir. See, hazardous areas means where the
If
dust. Yes, sir.
if you consider hazardous area, if this dust is contact with any electrical spark, any there may be some fire is occurred, na explosion occurred maybe.
That's what I'm saying, sir. The dust is in the form of flammable, in the form of the combustible also. The dust is. Suppose dust is accumulated on the equipment is more time. The heat is generated on the equipment. After some time, definitely dust will burn. What you said is 100% right, sir. It is circuit itself is taken care of, hazardous area. Not like a air dust and all this thing. The process dust, where it becomes a hazardous waste. Because in the on the electrical equipment, it is falling on the dust extraction system is not properly run or properly in condition. Therefore, dust accumulated on the equipment itself is accumulated. Where the electrical consumptions are there by the electrical equipment, heat is generated, thereby dust is combustible becomes. That's why hazardous area is class 2 becomes a contained dust. That what you said is 100% right. It's not supposed to be uh, accumulated on the circuit inside the panel board also. We have to be close the doors perfectly, and should not be any dust accumulated on the circuits also. What you said is flammable also it becomes during the ignition taking place. Okay, sir. And coming to this, the hazardous area contain fibers and flyings. Where the fibers are there, where the cotton industries, the textile industries, where there's fine particles will be flying on the atmosphere, will also having the combustible nature and flammable. Thereby, during near the electrical panels are there, it will be definitely taken care of catching fire. These three classes are very important areas, and there the class 1 again. What is the difference between the class 1 class 2 hazards like this? Locations are those which flammable already told. Locations are those in which combustible dust may be found. That's what the combustible dust, where it takes the oxygen from the atmosphere, it will burn immediately. Or the accumulation on the circuits, where the circuits are getting heated, thereby the dust is ignited, thereby fire will be happened in the electrical circuits itself. Class 3 locations are those which are hazardous because of the presence of easily ignitable fibers and the flames. Where the textile industries are there, where the fine particles are there, we have to see that. In the paper industries also, the chipper dust is there, where we have to take care of the dust blowers is helpful on the dust accumulated, and also dust extraction system will be properly run. Otherwise, the dust will be accumulated on the motor or the electrical equipments or electrical circuits is going. Somewhere else I have seen some of the doors of the panels is kept open simply without having because the door not properly, it is not keeping closed. Therefore, the atmospheric dust or the process dust or the hazardous dust will be accumulated on the circuit during prolonged time. Therefore, circuit will be ignited. Thereby, firing will be taken care of. This type of the class 1, class 2, class 3s are very, very important. We will coming slides also we will be discussing what is the examples of equipment enclosure. Sealing also important here. Equipment enclosures should be sealed to prevent flammable substances, and from these things we have to avoid any hazardous will not be occurred in these areas by providing the sealing or enclosure like pipe insulation. How it is like this electrical equipment circuit will be enclosed area, and see the doors will be closed always. Equipment enclosure should be sealed to prevent flammable substances and the from entering, because some doors I've seen the panel boards and all lot of leakage in the remote areas where the electrical panel boards are installed, and they during some time after operating, opening and operating, opening and closing, thereby door lock is getting loosened, thereby it is not sealed properly. Therefore, the substances which are in the areas class 1, class 2, class 3 areas of industries, dust will be prone to that a circuit, thereby firing will be taken care. That's why it should be sealed properly. Seals, gaskets should be carefully selected to provide the effective protection. See, for example, a pipeline is there where the flange joints will be taken care of, where the LHS oil, furnace oil will be taken inside the pipes, selected pipe, where the flange joints and the ceilings or gaskets should be selected in proper way, in such a way that should not be, because the over and above the pipe, we have to see that the heating element is there in the LHS as furnace oil pipelines. Because of heating line, heating elements are there, heating element wiring is there. You to always the wire is pipeline is under warm condition. At that condition, gaskets or flange joints or seals to be selected very carefully. It is not simply ignited with normal temperature conditions. We have to withstand the temperature because of the heating elements are there in the over the pipelines of the LHS and all these things, or the streamlines and all. You have to see that gaskets and seals to be carefully selected, effective protection. There is a definitely in the manufacturer manual it will be itself is mentioned there. Coming to the examples of the class 1 hazardous industries are those that in flammable involve flammable vapors or gases that could create explosion atmosphere. Examples of class 1 hazardous industries is explosives. What are the explosives here? Before going to the examples of the industries, explosives are material that can detonate or rapidly combust due to the a chemical reaction. Examples include ammunition, fireworks, flares, blasting caps. These are the explosive materials where the in normal operating conditions also it will be exploded. That is the called materials which you are taken care of. For example, pulp and paper industries, coke making, and red paints, varnishes, and the red organic. And why it is called red category of industries, what we call this. It doesn't mean the red pulp and paper. The red category as per the pollution category, pollution board categories, red category, orange category, green category. Are these there? That is why red category of the pulp and paper, red category of the coke making, red category of paints and varnishes, red category of organic chemicals. These are the some of the industries comes under the class 1 hazardous industries. For example, the pulp and paper is waste paper that is used to make craft paper making without bleaching also. Without bleaching means mixing with water and all this. Coke making. That coke making includes coke making, liquefaction, coal tar distillation, and the fuel gas making also comes under these class 1 examples, class 1 hazardous industries. Paints and varnish, you know, paints and varnishes include manufacturing of paints, varnishes, pigments, and the intermediates. These are comes under the class 1. And last but not least, organic chemicals also. Organic chemicals include the manufacturing of organic chemicals. In organic chemicals, nothing to worry. But organic chemicals where it burns at normal operating conditions also. Organic means you have to be a simply single bond, double bond, triple bond chemicals are there. where immediately it will be react with the atmosphere temperature, atmosphere ignition, atmospheric environment conditions. You have to see that it should not be exposed to the uh, atmosphere and sealing to be taken care of. These are the some of the examples which I have given, and some more examples are also there. You go through, definitely it will come under there in your experience. Safety precautions for class 1 hazardous industries. Ground and bond electrical equipment, conductive materials to prevent static electrical buildup. And second safety precautions is use explosion-proof enclosures contain internal explosions. Use intrinsically safe equipment to minimize the sparking or heat generation. Because these class 1 hazards are making reactive with the flammable vapors or gases. Definitely that create an explosion with it. Because of that reason, you have to see that ground and bond electrical equipment. Where electricity used, we have to see that the equipment is should be properly grounded and properly circuited, and we have to see that the conductor materials used in that circuit, used in that electrical installation, it should be very insulated manner and not in a position of conductive materials. Otherwise, it will create a static electricity buildup also. That's why ground and bond electrical equipment is very important. And see that the conductive materials means wiring should be used, insulated one or selected wires to be taken care of. Normally, hazardous areas operations only we are discussing these things. Hazardous area of operational and industries, electrical equipment is much more taken care, including the earth as well as the circuit, as well as the earthing, as well as the fuses, as well as the ELCBs, as well as the RCDs. We much more taken care of the red category industries or class 1 hazardous areas of industries. Use explosion-proof enclosures because the explosion will be taken care of in the circuits itself. Is we have to provide some facility, some internal explosion. See that the any internal explosion will be taken care of where the abnormal conditions are there. Immediately circuit break in the will be occurred. Immediately the current off will be taken care of. Therefore, the saving of equipment will be saving of the equipment will be occurred. Therefore, what happened? The circuit itself, we have to prove that explosion-proof enclosures to contain internal explosion. In the circuit itself, you have to see that some provision to be taken care of to take care of the indication to be taken care of any yeah, the sensitizing the equipment to be incurred so that it will be taken care of immediately. Switch off the system or switch off the electrical supply, and some precaution steps to be taken care of. Normally, while telling so many things, we can discuss, but in the during the course of practical expression, practical experience in the site, we are experiencing many cars also which we are not discussing here also. But we have to see that experience will be make correction steps are perfect in future also. Intrinsically, very use intrinsically means internal safe equipment. That means equipment circuit will be made. For example, the circuit will itself is the safe to design and see that a circuit incoming supply of current or voltage or the incoming source is not proper. Immediately circuit break will be work properly. That is called internally safely. We have to see that the equipment to minimize the sparking and the heat generation also. Where now earlier what is called some equipments are old equipments are there where the continuous running is there, whether because of the standby pump is or standby motor is not in hand. Therefore, running is 24 hours. The motor is getting heated. Now, present motors are coming, not getting heated. It is internally taken care of. It is not getting heated much on the when compared to earlier equipments. This is the very important class 1 hazardous areas of industries. Class 2, coming into the class 2 hazardous Industries classification refers to locations where combustible dust is present. As another one of the gentlemen is telling, normal the dust is combustible dust, not for the simple dust. Combustible dust means with atmospheric oxygen taken the dust, it will burn immediately. It catch fires also. Therefore, nearby electrical equipment it becomes a definitely a lot of risk is there in the electrical panel. That's why the combustible dust where the locations are there, we have to be meaning that areas where flammable particles like metal, powders, aluminum, magnesium, grain dust, coal dust, or other organic powders could potentially ignite and cause an explosion. The conditions are right. Examples: Class 2 industries include grain elevators, flour mills, coal processing plants, and facilities manufacturing metal powders. These are the very important. This is meaning areas here is already told where flammable particles. What flammable particles here is like metal powders, example aluminum, magnesium, grain dust, coal dust, other organic powders could potentially. That means the atmosphere itself taking the atmospheric air oxygen could potentially ignite. The self-ignition is there. It will be ignited. It will be burned and causes an explosion. The conditions are right. What in the sense of what is called here the what is called important is circuit itself is taken care of. Its circuit break or at the source itself is dust generation is not much or destruction system is properly installed. That's very important in this area. The key points about the class 2 hazardous areas: combustible dust, examples of industries, and division system is also very important areas. Here the combustible dust, the primary hazard in class 2 areas is the presence of combustible dust that can become airborne and ignite under certain conditions. Definitely, as discussed here, the dust is having nature of igniting, nature, nature of evening the take nature of capable of taking the oxygen in the atmosphere. It burns immediately and ignite, thereby catching fire also. The examples of industries of class 2 areas: grain elevators, flour mills, feed mills, sugar refineries, wood processing plants, and the chemical processing plants, handling powders, chemical processing plants, handling powders, coal mines, metal powder, where the dust is very ignitable nature is this in this. Therefore, it will be very important to care. Hazardous areas are there because of the class 2. You have to see that all the electrical circuits, all the electrical panels, all the electrical equipment should be properly installed, insulated, and taking much to be taken care of, not to be dust prone, not to be exposed to the dust. All these panels, as the electrical circuits, and as well as the electrical equipment also in this industries, especially. That means guards is compulsory, and insulation of wires is important, and the panel board doors is also much care to be taken care of. This electrical circuit itself is facilities to be given for the explosion of the class 2 or ignition of the to prevent from fire. Division system is also very important. This is very important is there. Within class 2, there are further divisions, division 1 and division 2, based on the likelihood combustible dust being present under normal operating conditions. Here, if you go through the literature of the class 2, which are closely follow up with the literature given by the standards, there are further division, division 1 and division, because some dusts are ignited immediately. Some dusts are taking some time and ignited after some more time. That means division 1 means ignited immediately. That will be taken care of. The second one is suppose the dust accumulated on the motor, it is getting heated for a prolonged time. If you run it in the motor, the dust is maybe fire. That is division 1, division 2. Depending upon the division 1 and definition 2, division 2, the you have to see that electrical equipments will be designed, electrical circuits will be designed electrical equipment purchase will be taken care of with respect to the division 1 and division 2. Because the division 2 is there where the ignition is not immediately, we cannot put incurring much financial matters by purchasing the material or dust prone what is called. That's why division 1 or division 2 we have to divide and see the purchasing of the electrical equipment. Class 3 is important. The class 3 hazardous locations where the risk of combustion due to the presence of flammable fibers and materials. These are areas often found in the textile and woodworking industry. As I already told, these are the flammable fibers and materials in the woodworking as well as textile industries. Examples of class 3 hazardous locations: cotton gins, cotton seed mills, sawdust or flying plants, and textile mills. What makes the location 3 hazards? In this only we will be discussing here this only. Class 3 hazardous: presence of fibers or flying that easily ignitable. There is no divisions are like this. In the class 2 divisions are there, but class 3 divisions are not there. The presence of the material that produce combustible flyings, the presence of large enough quantities of fibers or flyings to ignite and the cause of fire explosion. These are the class 3 hazardous some locations, like for example presence of fires, presence of material that produce a combustible flyings. Flyings means the flying materials in the atmosphere, and the presence of large enough quantities of fiber or flyings to ignite and cause fire explosions will be taken care of. What are the safety precautions for class 3 hazard series? Risk analysis to identify the potential hazards, the equipment protection levels, that is EPL, to evaluate the likelihood equipment becoming source of ignition, classification of the atmosphere is personal potential hazards, and the application of the hierarchy of the control equipment, processes and personnel. These are the very important areas. First of all, where the class 3 hazardous industries are there, you have to see that risk assessment for every activity you have to done and identify the potential hazards, and where the potential against the potential hazards, what are the risks are there, possible risks are there, and then expected risks are there. Then against that possible risk, against that expected risk, we have to see that whether the controls are there, existing controls is sufficient or not. If not the sufficient existing controls are there, you have to propose the controls to be made immediately and see that the target date will be given and see that it would be placed on within a designed or within a targeted time. Equipment protection levels also to evaluate the likelihood of equipment protection level means circuit protection, ELCPs, RCDs. Like this, we have to give some equipment protection levels to evaluate likelihood equipment becoming a source of ignition. Where the evaluation of the source of ignition will be taken care of, that properly the equipment is getting insulated, getting protection levels. We have to see that that is all we will discuss in the coming slides also. Classification of the atmosphere potential hazards. We have to see that the classification potential hazards here is classification also will be taken. The 01, 02, 0 potential is there, or 01 potential is there, 02 potential is there. Immediately we have to arrest, or we have to control, taking some time, or it is not controlled. Like this, we have to give some classification of potential hazards in this during the classification of the hazardous identification and all that. Application of hierarchy of control equipment, very important. You have to identify the critical equipments also, whether the electrical equipment or process equipment or the portable equipments also. We will take that the personal also, personal in the sense of where the hazardous areas are there, the people are working nearby, that people are giving more safety and more environmental safety conditions and more healthy environment to provide it to them. Not only the equipment, but also the process people, but also we have to risk levels to be identified during the risk assessment. Accordingly, during the due to that risk, according to the risk of levels, we have to provide the control methods apart accordingly. Where the electrical area classification is very important in their selection, installation, and maintenance. The classification is very, very important, sir. Here is the flammable material already discussed, and the potential areas, potential release of sources. Here I want to discuss some of the areas like ventilation, atmosphere formation. See, for example, three criteria of classification areas is flammable material present or potential release of surface. With these three things, we have to identify which classes it comes under. The flammable material is present, we have to see that equipments will be taken care of. The potential release of source is there, we have to see that equipment is in such a way. That's why three criteria for electrical area classification is two things. One is whether the area of flammable materials is more or potential release of sources. These two things are separated with respect to the ventilation, atmospheric formation. See, for example, the criteria for electrical area classification is depending upon the flammable materials or depending upon the potential release of sources, depending upon the ventilation, depending upon the atmosphere formation. These three things will be deciding to take care of the risk level identification, whether the classification zones is comes under 0 or comes under zone 0 or zone 1, zone 2. These are the three areas very important. An area classification of zones. The classification zone depends upon the risk oriented. Flammable materials, potential release of sources, ventilation purpose is there, and the atmosphere. These four things keep in mind uh, to take care of the class 3 hazardous areas of industries, or we can say class 1, class 2 also. Classification zones is an area 0, zone 0 is an area where the explosion material atmosphere is continuously present or exists for a long periods. Where in the class 1, class 2, class 3, the all ignited is there, flammable is there, or class 1, class 2 are already explained. The class 1, class 2, class 3, where the areas are continuously present, or flammable gases or flammable dust or the ignited dust present continuously is there or exists for a long time, that risk or that potential, that classification comes under the 0, where the control is perfectly designed and they see that there should not be any risk consequences will be happened. Zone 1 areas. An area where the explosive wet mass is likely to occur during the normal operation. Normal operation where the explosive materials or explosive atmosphere is coming in that industries, either class 1 or class 2, class 3, we have to see that normal operation conditions also may be likely to occur. It's not continuously it is happened. An area where exposure atmosphere is likely to occur during the normal operation, it comes under the zone 1, we treat it as according to the control measures to be taken care of as per the classification. Coming to the zone 2 areas, an area where an explosive materials, explosive atmosphere is unlikely to occur during the normal operation but may occur under fault conditions. See here, there is difference is there. Likely to occur during normal operation condition, unlikely to occur during normal operation condition, but may occur under fault condition. Any human error is there, or circuit errors are there, or any malfunctions of the electrical functions like this, it will be treated as a zone 2 areas. These are the very, very important areas, the classification zones, and they continued, and the continuation is classification zones continues. Zone area is hazardous area. Again, I'm repeating here is a zone 0 area is hazardous area where an explosive gas atmosphere is present continuously or for a long period of time. This could be a gas, vapor, or dust explosions. Clear, somewhat